Greetings. Hey, private dancer. Am I? Tired. I am tired. As usual. I'm pretty much always tired. Where they'll come, I hope. Presumably they'll be here. Hey, Pika. You're also hungry. I'm good on hunger for now. I will be making myself Ugly Dan. Ugly Dan. Thank you very much. All right off the bat. Hugs. My name changes constantly, but my love for you doesn't. Thank you for 20 US dollars. Super chat, you Ugly Dan. Hearts in the chat for Ugly Dan. Whoever's in the chat. Hey Alex, how's work? It was work as usual. Yeah, whoever is here, hearts in the chat for Ugly Dan. Were you previously Ugly Hobo? Or were you somebody else? "21 lives? Ah. Alright. Haven't seen you in a while then. Haven't seen you in a while. My second guess was MG. My second guess was going to be MG. Hey, budget. What I miss? That $20 super chat. That's what you missed. $20 US. Being Canadian, US dollars are even better. MG, my sugar. She was back in the day, yeah. Last gift to be around Christmas of 23. So a little while then. We also said, yes. Yeah, we established that we're tired. Also, I will be making myself rice tonight. Steaming up some rice later. and watch a little bit more of a let's play of the new Life is Strange. Oh, good night, Dan. Yeah, and I did do let's plays of the remastered, the Life is Strange remaster. I did do that on the channel. I don't expect that I'll play the new one. But no, not getting some strange. No, watching a let's play of the new Life is Strange, which I don't expect that I'll ever bother playing myself. Yeah, gotta be honest. Deck 9 is no, don't nod. Odd not seeing Scrape and Vanna. Yeah, Scapegoat wasn't here at all last night. I expect they'll. I expect that they will probably show up. Old Walking Dead, nah. Walking Dead never interested me in general. Either as a comic, a show, or a game. Was never interested in any incarnation of Walking Dead. Hope she didn't send her dad another VM, another voicemail. Yep. She did say hello earlier. Sims 4 has funerals now. Yippee. There's a few reasons why I would never play Sims 4. Reason one, I honestly find the Sims games boring. They're just dull. Number two, the fact that fucking everything is requires that you pay extra. Hey, alien person. Liked my cat visitor. So did I. Yeah, like, if they released the game for $70 and it, included a very full experience, sure, fine. That's how games work. But no, what they do is they just like expansion pack, expansion pack, expansion pack, expansion pack. So like if you want to get the full game experience, you're spending hundreds of dollars on expansion packs. And that's just shitty. Capitalism? Yep, it is. It's capitalism, and capitalism sucks. It's a good game to play on your phone that's free. I mean, most of them suck. Most phone games suck. I will admit, I do play AFK Journey. I do play the mobile game AFK Journey. It's free, but it's not freemium. Like that's the important part. It's like you genuinely don't have to spend any money on it. Because like basically any mobile game, oh, it's free to play. Just don't expect to get very far if you're not paying. I'm a gamer, but I love watching someone play Red Dead Redemption, almost like a movie. Yeah, I've watched Let's Plays of both Red Dead games. They didn't like 100% the games or anything. I think there was a fair bit. The second one, especially Red Dead 2, especially, there was the Let's Play I watched. There was a lot that they didn't do. Have I played Cyberpunk? I actually have. I watched a Let's Play of it, and then I did eventually end up buying the game myself. Never ended up finishing it. It's my 40th. It's like 3 months. I let it just hang out in the world. Yeah, I haven't gotten back to it in months. I honestly don't even remember the last time I opened it. May. Yeah, I fell off it back in May. So I stopped playing it back in May. So it's been 6 months since I actually played any of it. Since I actually played it. I just hit a point where it's like, yeah, I don't really feel like getting back to it. I will note, I'm not very good at games, so I did use some mods to make it super easy on myself. I did install a few mods to make it really easy. Cat birthday party. Hey, Vanna, there you are. That time your ass got here. You haven't played the DLC yet. The DLC is good. It does actually include a new ending, which is actually a pretty good ending, at least as far as Cyberpunk allows for good endings. The endings are so sad. Yeah, there's no real the original game really didn't do like good endings. Like the closest to the original game, I think the closest it came. Running with Judy is good, but still sad. Yeah, that's the closest it came to a good ending. Like leaving Night City with your girlfriend and like you're gonna die. Like you're still a few months away from death with like no real chance of any sort of treatment. So death focused, peace bringing his narrative. Yeah, I mean it does kind of like it captures the vibe of cyberpunk as a genre to the best that a corporate that a the best that a sort of capitalist game can. The RPG book? Nah. No, I think I did browse a little bit about it. Like I just like not the book itself, but just sort of like browsing about the tabletop game. And honestly seemed like kind of a pain in the ass. Lots of the women cutting their hair because of the election. I have no thoughts on it. I do have thoughts on the people who doxed Nick Fuentes, and my thoughts on that are, fuck yeah, fuck that dude. Hey Floyd, I mean, women getting their hair, I mean, they're scared and angry, and they're doing the same as when Trump was in presidency in the past. There you go, Uncle Buck. It'll probably be worse, actually, alien person. It will be worse than his first term. What was that? Conservative shitheel. He was doing some stream or podcast or whatever the fuck it is he does, and gloating about Trump winning, and Nick Fuentes told everyone not to vote for Trump. Yeah, except he's cheering Trump's victory, and made the statement, "Your body, my choice." In gloating about Trump's victory and the fact that that his presidency is going to mean ever stricter abortion bans in a lot of states. Yeah. Your body, my choice. Which is actually pretty fucking rapey as a statement, as a thing to say. Anyway, he's been an asshole for a long time, and so he got doxxed. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Fuck that dude. Fuck that dude. So. I hope he gets punched. Because that is the best way of dealing with Nazis. Already moved since then? Could be. Yeah. Nothing interesting trending in Twitter. Yeah. Nice. They're auctioneers in Alex Jones's office. InfoWars is being shut down, with everything being auctioned off on Wednesday. Isn't that Tracy TX personal Chantel's mod? No idea, but she came in and said Trump 20 and Trump 2024, and honestly, that just gets an immediate ban as far as I'm concerned. Chef or something. Get another pet? No, I can't. Food industry is hell. Yeah, I wouldn't want to work in the food industry. The average profit margin is real thin. I mean, even beyond that, I mean, it just feels like a miserable experience. Way too stressful for me to handle, even as like just in any role. Do you think Biden voted for Trump? I would guess not. When I worked in the food industry, I didn't eat, so I was very thin. Maybe I should do it to lose weight. I mean, if you're just looking to lose weight, meth. Have you considered the health benefits of meth? The industry is very stressful. Yeah, probably voted for himself. I'm sure he voted for Harris. Don't advise that. To stress, just to emphasize, I am not a doctor. You should not take medical advice from me ever. I don't want to be hated by everyone. Yeah, you should. I am not. Yeah, you don't take medical advice from me. In all honesty, there are very few situations where you should take any kind of advice from me at all. Like I'm someone that you should probably never really want to turn to for advice. Because I don't know a damn thing about a damn thing. If you work in food and go home hungry, it's your own fault. But I made no money. Well, I mean, yeah, of course you don't make money. The only way to eat when you're in the food industry is to steal food from the customers. Back in the day, they did give a white pick me up for certain things, rather than blaming each other. Well, I mean, they lost, so everyone's all the Democrats are looking for some reason for why they failed, for why they lost. Like, I think probably the main two reasons that they lost really are one, the economy doesn't actually feel all that strong to the average worker. Walls being in hell no Floyd. Walls was an absolute benefit. If they had let Walls uh, loose, he probably would have helped. Because when Walls came out and said uh, and declared the Republicans weird, when he declared Vance and Trump to be weird, that was the strongest push that the campaign had. Walls was a really good choice. And if they let him just do his thing, it might have made a bit of a difference. Yeah. Yeah, the main things. The economy doesn't feel particularly strong to the average worker. You can point to the stock market all you want. The stock market does not make a single bit of difference to the average person. %99 of people could not care less about the stock market because it doesn't actually affect them. Exactly, Floyd. Corporate profits are high. Ooh. Ooh, the Dow Jones. Ooh. Nobody fucking cares about the stock market. It's meaningless to 99% of people. It matters to the wealthy. The people who like are investors. It matters to investors. And 99% of the population is not investors. I mean, 99, okay, 99% is maybe a bit high for like people not being investors, but you get my point. Like, you know, the average person doesn't have money invested in the stock market. So whether the stock market's strong makes no difference whatsoever to them. And like, you know, ooh, unemployment's low. Okay, but I mean, people are working shit jobs that don't pay shit. We reduced inflation. Yeah, but price of, the price of everything continues to rise while spending power continues to decrease. Like it's for the average person, the economy remains shitty. And it's worth noting that, you know, Trump's not going to do anything to fix that. Harris wouldn't have done anything to fix it, frankly. No one who stands an actual chance of getting elected is ever going to do anything that to fix the economy so that it works for the average worker. Because the way to fix the economy for the average worker is fucking socialism. Like genuinely, it's just for the government to start saying, "Hey, you, just hey, you, just fucking raise wages. Hey, you, landlords, decrease rent prices. All you landlords, you got to decrease rent prices." Um, like China, probably wage theft. Wage theft is the single largest form of theft in the United States. America's committed genocides. Indeed, it has, and it continues to be to take part in genocides. Anyway, so yeah, the two reasons Democrats lost: economy sucks for the average person. Tens of millions of Americans are fascists. Tens of millions of Americans want a fascist government. Because Trump is 100% a fascist, and the people who voted for him, that is what they want. This would have been a crappy president. I mean, probably. Biden was a crappy president. What would have happened with Harris is that she would not have been as uh, virulently destructive as Trump. Harris would have sucked. She would have done very little for the average person. Trump is going to make life measurably worse for most people. It's just that's Trump is going to make life absolutely worse for people. We don't know that. We absolutely do know that. I mean, his big economic policy is tariffs. You think tariffs are going to fucking help anybody? No. Bank can't manipulate with much money in the Trump administration. I mean, very little of that actually had to do with Trump, though. The reality is, the reality is, in general, in general, presidents have general. In general, presidents have a fairly minimal effect on the economic conditions for the average person. There are certain policies they can institute that that will cause serious problems. There are policies they can institute that will economically wreck the average person. But in terms of policies that make life objectively better for the average person, there's honestly not a lot. Like, not a lot actually has to do with what they do. Hey, Trash Pandy. Housing crisis for most people in the West. Yep. Because capitalism. Great, they can do so much more damage than good. Yeah. How do we know she would have done good things for our country? I mean, like I said, it's just we just get everything. Fuck off, private dancer. Get everything for free. Fuck off, they with that shit. They don't. They pay into government programs that they will never get any benefits from. Trans rights are human rights, absolutely, and they're gonna suffer so much over the next like 10 or 15 years, frankly. Trans rights most definitely human rights. Yeah, and they're gonna get fucked over. So fucking like yeah, they already are. You think Trump is going to be some big fucking advocate for trans rights? No, he's gonna just the Republican Party as a whole wants trans people to fucking die. Then people won't come to no, they don't. If they wanted common sense to return, they wouldn't have voted for fucking Donald Trump. No, what they want is fascism. Yes, I do still want to transition. Hick signed to authorize the U.S. military to use lethal force. Yep. Yep, because Democrats, Republicans, they're both absolutely pro-cop and pro-killing protesters. Do you think my transition is being friend? Well, I mean, I'm a Down Predator. By Trump? Probably not. Though it's honestly hard to say because there is the possibility of, because I mean, like, very high likelihood, I think, that that a lot of Republican states, Republican-led states, are going to be pushing exceptionally strict anti-trans laws. That there is a risk, I think, of Republican laws resulting in a decrease in hormones being produced. So, an example would be just a complete and total ban on any sort of transition under 18 for sure. Most Republican states are going to ban any transition under 18 for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them go with 25 as the age at which it's legal to begin transition. And they're going to put in restrictions that, like, you know, all these hoops that you have to go through. Gender dysmorphia is a general trait. It is not alien person. It is true that trans people are at a higher. Trans people have a higher rate of being autistic than the general population, but so do queer people in general. All queer people, or actually, I should say, autistic people are more likely to be any brand of queer. Gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, ace, whatever. Autistic people in likelihood are just in general have a higher likelihood of identifying as some flavor of queer than the general population. As far as 18 being reasonable, not really. Because, I mean, the thing is, like, you're right that it is a big decision. But the thing is, like, if a 10-year-old starts saying that, they want to be the other gender, and they're saying for the next 3 years that they want to be the other gender, it is very, very doubtful that they will decide, you know what, I don't want to. 21 plus? Fuck you, Dan. Young boys have autism misdiagnoses. I mean, I'm not sure that they do. I think that I don't know that it's that, like, that boys are being, like, overdiagnosed. It's girls are being underdiagnosed. I think is actually, like, a bigger issue. But I mean, I don't know. It's people are becoming more aware of it. Dan's very young to make such an adult decision. Right, but what I'm saying is, like, 10-year-old goes to their parents and it's like, Mom, Dad, I'm a girl. And you take them to parents take them to the counselor to talk about it. And 3 years later, kid's still saying, I'm a girl. At that point, the odds of them deciding later on that they're not a girl, very, very low. The kids know who they are. Like, it's not just like a phase. These kids know who they are in terms of, whether they're a boy or a girl. 21 plus. Fuck you for 21 plus. Fuck you. Fuck you for forcing these kids to. Should the parents have any say? The issue with that is that there are still abusive parents out there. There are still parents out there who will straight up kick their kid out of the house for coming out as trans. But like you're trying to force these kids into something that's going to make them suffer. Puberty sucks for like puberty's a shitty time for most people, but it's downright traumatic for trans kids. Is it possible to trick someone into thinking they're a different gender? Not really. There was a very, very famous example of that, actually. Kid was born male, but a botched circumcision led to psychologists deciding, convincing the parents that they should do complete cut it off. David Reimer, yeah, thank you, Diamond Son. Raise the kid as a girl instead. So this boy was raised as a girl. And throughout his life, he knew he wasn't a girl. He knew there was something different. He knew that he wasn't supposed to be a girl. Trans only started 8 years ago. Well, that is objectively false. Trans people existed. I mean, realistically, trans people have almost certainly existed all throughout history. The number of people who are actually able to live that way is very low. But in terms of like people living as the opposite gender, we've got examples going back to the 20s. Like we've got examples going back 100 years. If you want to do it, then do it. I am not at a place in my life right now where I'm comfortable with it. But anyway, yes. So getting back on point, David Reimer raised as a girl, knew he wasn't, all his life knew he wasn't a girl, and truth eventually came out, and he resumed his life as a boy. So convincing somebody, tricking somebody into believing they're the opposite gender, it's not actually a thing. Like it's like you can't really trick somebody that way. It's been demonstrated that it doesn't really work. Didn't he commit suicide? Probably. I don't really know. But given he was raised as a psychological experiment, I wouldn't fucking blame him if he did. I'm not going to blame anyone for committing suicide when they are literally raised as an experiment. Because that's fucked up, and that's going to fuck you up for your whole life. Kids making adult choices just doesn't seem right to me. But it's not an. I would disagree with it being an adult choice. Both parts of it. I would disagree with both parts of it. I would disagree with it being an adult thing, and I would disagree with it being a choice. It is them recognizing who they are. These are kids who know who they are. And who want to live authentically to themselves. And forcing them through the wrong puberty is traumatic to them. Most kids don't think about these things until they're teenagers. Most kids never think about whether they're the right gender. They tries to transition in any capacity. I mean, yes, like whether they actually want to go through with it is a choice, but by that logic, whether a person wants to, whether a gay man wants to date other men is a choice. So many kids go through phases, but this one isn't a phase. When we're talking about trans kids, we're not talking about, oh, I want to be an astronaut when I grow up. Oh, I want to be this when I grow up. I want to be that when I grow up. What we're talking about is a deep-seated and long-term recognition of their own identity. Can you speak for all these children? Okay, so that's it. Well, no, it's not. They're committing suicide because of trans people commit suicide because of how they're treated by the society and by people around them. Yeah. Most kids never actually question their gender. They don't. It's the vast majority of boys never think, would I be happier as a girl? And the vast majority of girls don't think, would I be happier as a boy? But, like, if someone spends months and years, because that's the thing, we're talking about people spending years saying, I'd be happier as a girl, or I'd be happier as a boy. As well, I want to be a boy, but I just want to be able to walk around without my shirt on and stand while peeing. I mean, yeah. There is that. I suppose for girls, there's like, man, I wish girls wish they had it as easy as boys do. I think that like girls wish they had the advantages that boys do. Um, but yeah, if somebody spends years wanting to transition, they know who they are. They're not going to be detransitioning. The reality is, like, detransition rates are super low, and a majority of detransitions aren't due to regret. They're due to social or financial difficulties. Regret, they're due to social or financial difficulties. Consider myself a potential trans? Pretty much, yes. Yeah, I am an aspiring trans. It's not regret. Regret rates are super fucking low, Dirty Dan. Every single study that has ever been fucking done on this shit shows regret rates are unbelievably low. Are lower than regret rates for any other surgery. How to look gay and have content what gender affirming care is. I mean, most of them don't really know what gender affirming care is. They just know what, they just know I want to be this. Jumping into kids transitioning, which is a fucking problem. Because these kids are going to suffer as a result. They're going to have lifelong trauma as a result. They're going to spend their teenage years, they're going to spend years being utterly fucking miserable. They're going to spend the entirety of their teens being absolutely fucking miserable. And not in the way that teens are normally miserable. And of course, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that's worth remembering. Even when they turn 18, even when you're legally allowed to transition now. Wait times are fucking abysmal. It's a miserable living life that's given to you. Because it's not the life that is right for them. It's not who they are. They're being forced to live as somebody who they are not. And the thing is, even when they're, oh yeah, you're legally allowed to transition now. It's like, oh yeah, okay, now you just have to wait another 8 years until you can get on medication. It's like, wait times are pretty shitty. Hi, Reptile. Again, Dan, that's fucking bullshit. It's transphobic horseshit. It all comes down to the idea that transitioning is bad. What it all comes down to, what all of this bullshit comes down to, is the idea that transitioning should be a last resort. That transitioning is that transitioning at all for anybody ever, for anybody ever, that transitioning is the worst possible outcome. It's down to the idea that everybody, every single person, every single trans person is, in the eyes of these people, a failure. All of this, you gotta wait until 18 or 21 or 25, you gotta have wait time, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta have a million fucking loops to jump through. All of it comes down to the belief that transitioning is a negative outcome. That the ideal outcome is for the person to decide, you know what? No, I don't want to transition anymore. I know. That is absolutely what it all comes down to. Hey, private name. Do I think anything matters? I think that there is no meaning to life. I think that you know what? You are just a transphobic shitwad. I'm fucking done with you, Dan. Fuck off. Honestly, I'm just fucking done with you. Parents care about about their children. They should. Ideally, they should. Uh, a lot of parents. There's a lot of parents out there. There's a lot of parents out there who see their children as extensions of themselves. I said most of the parental rights debate, it's people who see their kids as extensions of themselves, not as you know full and fully individual humans with their own thoughts and feelings and inner worlds and dreams and goals and ambitions. Their kids are little versions of themselves, a receptacle for the parents to put their own hopes and dreams onto. Anyway, I'm ending the stream for tonight. I'll be back on Wednesday. I'll come on Wednesday. So, thanks for coming. And good night, everybody.